So I'm thinking these things as I'm landing these body shots. And I'm reminding him that this is boxing now. And these shots land in boxing. And the debilitation you feel from these is something different than anything else. So if you're tired and you're taking body shots, it's not going to be very comfortable. So I'm talking to him, and I'm bitching at him. And he's talking back to me at certain points in the sparring, but he's talking back now less and less and less. Now he's just trying to make faces at me instead of talking because he's getting tired. You know what I mean? So he can't even keep up the trash talk with me. He's just making faces at me. He still lands a couple of shots here and there, don't get me wrong. You know, he shows himself, he shows some grit. But I can tell he's fading, and I can tell he's folding more so than anything. And at a certain point in one of the clinches, he pushes me down. Now, for me, I remember thinking in that moment, pushes me away, and I try to keep my footing. You know, when you go down, but you go down, like you try to keep your footing, so you get pushed back, and you're like you're just trying to hold, and like you're like trying to, and then you fall. You know, the momentum just makes you fall.
Like you're on roller skates.
Yeah, so you know, your feet just go really fast. Like, oh, I'm going down. I try to hold it. Sometimes you catch it, sometimes you don't, and you just go all the way back. That's kind of the way I went down off that push. So I remember thinking in the moment, this guy's tired. He's looking for a break, you know? Like he was looking for that break. He's frustrated, you know? He's looking for that break. I also remember thinking, this is how you know the subtleness in my mind already knows what a sneaky prick he is. I also remember, and I would never think this in any other slap. I've slipped in sparring a million times in my life, or been pushed down a million, you know, hundreds of times in sparring. Like I've even done some, you know, guys have gone down without knockdowns in sparring with me. You know, just guys slip or fall all the time in sparring. And I've never actually thought this in my mind. Another piece of my mind, the subtle part of my mind, which probably realizes this is a scumbag I'm dealing with, thought to myself, I wonder if he would use this for a knockdown. It actually went through my mind. It went through my mind. It would never usually go through my mind. But it shows how subtle, the subtle part of my brain already knew what a jerk-off I was dealing with. You know? It's like the subtle part of my brain was trying to convince the frontal part of my brain, like, listen, buddy, this is a jerk-off. Like, enough of this already. You know what I'm saying? But I still wasn't convinced yet. But the subtle part of my brain already realized it. Because why else would I get that thought in my head on that pushdown? I get up. We keep going. I actually remind him. I was like, what's up? You needed a break? And I'm keeping on going at him, you know? I think it was after round 8, I go to my corner. This is how you know he's got a bunch of yes men. I don't know, after round 7, I think it was. That's how you know he's got a bunch of yes men around him. This is what I'm saying about that he doesn't want to learn anything. He wants to be just told how great he is. And round 7 ends, and he goes, that's 7-0 me. And I'm like, man, I was like, you must have missed I said, you must have missed your math classes, huh? As I'm walking back to my corner. Because at that point, I start wondering, wow, he just got a bunch of yes men. Like, he's not even able to realize something has to change right now. Like, he goes back to his corner every round, and they tell him he's doing good, or they tell him it's okay, or they tell, like, that's like the worst thing you can have. It's such a bad sense of security. But I'm thinking, you know, there's no other way he would be able to say that confidently to me. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're telling him how good he's doing. You know what I mean? Like if I go back to my corner and I'm doing good, you know, any trainer I've had is going to let me know. And I'm going to be like, all right, something's got to change here. You know, like, in his mind, he was doing totally fine. You know what I mean? so
he was shooting a breeze. He was getting shot a breeze.
I mean, he wished he had a breeze because he was throwing less and less punches. I mean, in the very least, even in your own denial in your brain, you got to know you're throwing less punches, and more punches are coming back at you than you want to experience. You have to at least understand that part of common sense. So you're really in denial if you don't expect that, if you don't at least see the simple part of that. I think after that round, it was when I started talking to Dana White outside the ring. I started yelling at him. I started yelling towards Dana White. I was just giving it to him. But I was yelling loud enough to where Conor heard me across the ring. I was yelling at him, and I was saying, 24 hours on a flight. Now I'm kicking the shit out of this guy. I was like, I'm kicking the shit out of your best guy. 24 hours ago, I was on a flight. Then I also gave a little fib. I said, I didn't do anything last week. I said, all I did was work last week on TV. I came off a plane 24 hours ago, and I'm kicking the shit out of him. He's got no balls. He's got no character. And Dana is not making any emotional face at me. He's not even acknowledging that I'm talking, but he's looking right at me. He's basically like, but he's not giving me any reaction, so I don't know how he's taking this, you know? He's not saying anything. He's not doing anything. But he's looking right at me. So he's acknowledging the fact that I'm talking to him. You know? And that's it. Then we went back out. You know, 9 and 10 were good rounds for me as well. And then probably 11 was when I started to really, like, die out. And, you know, and this is where you're not in 12-round shape. You're also not you know, you've also experiencing a little bit of the jet lag, you know, the cross-country flight the night before. And to Conor's credit, he came on strong at 11 and 12.
But that's what I was going to say to you. Was that impressive to you?
Yeah, that was impressive to me because I thought like he wanted out.
There's a lot of swings there.
Yeah,
up
that
and
was
downs.
impressive to me because I thought he wanted out. Don't get me wrong. I still had a wondering in my mind that if I would have kept pressing 11 and 12, if he had it in him to fight me back. Because when I was pressing the issue, he didn't have it in him to fight me back anymore. You know, so or fight me back consistently anyway. So I still ended the sparring, you know, give him respect, 11 and 12 especially. He came on really strong, gave me some good shots. I'm you know, I was impressed with the fact that he came on strong. And at that point, I was just like, just get through the 12, you know, like, you know, you'll get him again soon enough, and you won't be off on cross country flight. You'll be in even better shape. You're gonna get sharper, you know. And I just said, get through the 12, and I did, and it finished up. We were cool. We said good work. Everybody gave us a hand. Me and Conor even took a picture together inside the ring. I thought this for sure buries the hatchet. I thought for sure things are gonna change now. You know, this was maybe just
you personally humbled him.
Yeah, I thought, you know, I got the better of him, and also I thought there's just